Okay, so share screen. I'll do entire screen, I think. Okay, why is it doing that? There we go. How is that?
I don't see yours. Oops. I don't. Okay, yeah, perfect. Looks good.
Everything looks good?
Yep, everything looks good. Let me pin you. And so is it going to be interactive or do you want to like wait until the end to unmute people?
No, let's have them. I don't mind them being unmuted. I want them to be chiming in and interactive.
Okay, so it looks like there's an infinity screen. Can you go back to the presentation that you had up? Did I lose you?
Oh, I'm here. There we go.
Okay, for some reason, oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, so how it works is when people come on, they'll automatically be listeners. And so I'm going to make them into speakers, but they'll be muted. So if people to be interactive, just let them know to take themselves off mute.
Now, the view that I have right now, I cannot see anything except for my screen. How can I change that?
You can't. You just have to see your screen. Actually, let me see. Are you sharing your entire screen or the tab?
I'm sharing the whole screen.
Okay, try just sharing the tab and see if
Yeah.
you can see.
Okay. Start over. All right, let's try. Oh, there we go. Tab. Okay. Select a tab to preview. There we go. Okay. Yep, I'm still not seeing you.
Okay, hold on. Pin for everyone.
Try doing the do you want me to stop or do you need me to stay sharing this view?
Do you see my like face on the side now or no?
Only now. Oh, okay. Now, am I showing? What can you see right now? Can you see like my whole tab or the presentation?
I can see your whole tab. So why
Okay.
don't you try
You try
sharing?
yeah, let me try a different way here. One sec. All right, let's try. Oh, that's a whole window. Entire. So my only options are entire screen, window. Oh, well, let me see if that'll give me the window that I'm looking for. I don't think that's going to do what I want it to do either. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, let's do.
I'm so used to Zoom. This is like unnerving.
I know. Almost there though. You're why get on a little bit early.
So when I go to share window though, like, because usually like on Zoom, you can do a little box. I can't get to something like that where I can just do my presentation. The
No.
window.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Try so when you do the tab, can you still see your presentation and then my face?
No, all it shows is my tab.
What are you sharing right now?
The whole tab for Canva.
Okay, try unsharing it again.
Okay, hold on a second. I just realized there's a little bar up front. Hold on, let me see if. All right, try unsharing. I just saw something that maybe might be my answer. Give me one sec.
Okay.
No, I can't quite figure it out. I'm sorry. I don't know what I need to do here.
Okay, can you go back to sharing the tab?
Yep. Because what I need to do is get in here into present like that. So all I can see now is just the slides. I can't see anything else.
Okay. Yeah. Well, why don't we focus on the presentation? So that's the most important part.
Uh-huh. That's what you're seeing right now, right? It's just my presentation.
Yep. But I'm seeing the Canvas screen and not just the tab.
You are. All right.
Okay.
Sorry about that. All right. Let me try. Um, Let me try real quick the okay, that might be the trick. Is that it? Can you just see my
Yep. I can see your presentation.
and you can see me and I can see you, but now the problem is it's not letting me exit out of here for some reason.
An X up at that top right corner of the black box.
No, that got all right. Let's try something else. Let's see here. We almost had it. Okay. How are we doing there?
Looks great.
Yay, we got it. Okay, let me
Um,
I'm still looking like I'm having trouble with manipulating my slides though. I can't go to the next slide from this view.
okay. So
Yeah, there's no way for me to advance my slides here.
it looks like we have a few people joining.
Welcome everybody. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. We'll get it. Thanks for your patience.
Okay. Can you click on your mouse to get to the next slide?
No, there's no next slide button in this presentation view is my problem. There's just nowhere to click.
Okay. Maybe go back to the view that you had before.
Yeah, where I'm just showing the Canva.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's big enough.
Okay, let's try it. Thanks for your patience, guys. I appreciate it. The only problem was when I go to the, let's try it this way, see. Oh, there we go. Well, see, I've got the same problem here. Hold on a second. There's still no way to advance the slide deck on here. I'm clicking all over the screen and I can't find any place to advance to the next slide.
What about the view you had before, not the presenter view, just the tab from Canva?
Thought that's what I was doing here, but let's try it again. So now I've lost you guys, if I'm in that. Let's see if how about, see, so there we go. So the way I'm in here now, let me try something else here.
Okay. Okay, did you share your screen?
No, I'm not sharing it yet. Okay, let's see.
Okay, try no that. Okay.
Sorry. When I can get to where I can share my screen and advance my slides, but not see the participants, or I can see the participants and not advance the slides. So there's
Okay.
something.
Why don't I would just recommend just going through the slides. Looks like we have a group and just get started. And as people come in, I'll go ahead and make them speakers. And so if you want to have interactive, just, let people know to unmute themselves. That we can go started.
When I'm sharing my slides, can you guys still see me though?
I can, yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, there we go. Hey, guess what? We just figured it out. Can you see all of my whole slide or just a portion of it?
Your entire slide.
Ah, we got it. We got it. Okay.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. All right, you guys, you're troopers. Thank you for waiting. Thank you so much, Joanna. I appreciate you so much. All right, are we ready to get started? Okay, so here's the deal. I would love a little participation. I know sometimes you're in situations where it's difficult, but we've got a really tiny group, and we're talking about a kind of an intimate, if you will, conversation about being happy. So it would be awesome if we could kind of connect and say hello. Is anybody able to unmute? Ian, is it Jovan and Sobeda?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, thanks so much, Jovan. I appreciate you saying hi.
Yeah, hi. I probably won't be with you guys for the whole time, but just thought I'd chime in now that I have some downtime. Yeah.
Great. All right, well, here's what I'm going to recommend everybody. This is meant to be a little bit of like, let's go back and forth. And if you just kind of mute yourself until you want to talk, but please mute yourself if you want to say, just chiming in. That would be awesome. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My background in real estate is that I currently run a little training company where Keller Williams offices hire me to do their new agent training. And so I mostly teach Keller Williams new agents in California. I've been doing that for 2 years. I work for myself as my own independent business. And before that, I was a recruiter, coach, and trainer for a boutique company here in Orange County with about 400 agents. And before that, I was a team leader and a productivity coach for Keller Williams. And I started my career 9 years ago with Coldwell Banker as an agent. So that's kind of my pedigree. Before that, years and years before that, I had been in corporate training working for Discover Card and Fidelity Investments. And I just absolutely love training. And I just happen to love agents. I think we're a wacky, weird bunch. And so I really, really just get a kick out of helping agents build their businesses and be productive. So I'm super excited to be here with you guys all. So why am I talking about happiness? I'll tell you, it's my passion. I just gave you my kind of work history, but the kind of interesting thing is before that, I was a stay-at-home mom for 20 years, and I got divorced. and my kids my kids grew up. They didn't blow up. I blew up my life. My kids grew up. I got divorced, and I hadn't been working for over 20 years. I had a 25-year marriage end. And, I always thought, well, when I'm in my new marriage or whatever, I'll be happier. When this happens, I'll be happy. And I've spent the last 10 years becoming a student of happiness. How do I live the kind of life I want, no matter what's going on, right? How do I just learn to be happy? And so that's why I'm talking about this topic today. It's my own personal journey that I've been on my own, personal passion. So I'm just going to share with you. This is The World According to Christy, who's read lots and lots of books and done lots of personal work on this subject. So that's where we're coming from today. So hopefully that helps kind of understand a little bit on where I'm coming from. So here's what I've decided is in all my wisdom, all my research, I think there are kind of 4 things that are blocking our happiness. So the first is, sorry, I'm trying to get there we go. We're not connected to our purpose. So we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to have you do an exercise. Hopefully this will work out. It's a little bit strange because we're not interacting so much, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to have you do an exercise here and now. So grab a pen and paper if you don't have one. And we're going to talk about ways to maybe connect to your purpose. The second thing I determined is that we let fear stop us from going all in and having that abundant life. We let fear kind of rule us. So we're going to talk about that. The third is that we all have these wacky limiting beliefs that we've had since childhood. Basically, we kind of decided very young how the world works, and we kind of look for proof on how to make ourselves right. So that's where our limiting beliefs come from, and they stop us from having as big of a life as we could have. And then the fourth thing that I think is blocking our happiness or causing us to not be happy is that we have the wrong formula for happy. So I'm going to walk you through each of these, and we're going to do a little bit of work in each area. So here's where, like I said, I'm hoping this will be a little interactive. If I could be so brave as to ask for that. I want to talk about this idea of purpose. Oftentimes when we talk about, well, does my life have purpose? What we're talking about is, does my life have meaning? And Viktor Frankl is kind of the godfather of some thoughts on this. And if you know his story, if you've read his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he was a psychologist in Austria, I think, was put in Auschwitz, was in several concentration camps, along with his wife, who was pregnant with their first child, his parents, and his siblings. All of them perished, except for one sister and himself. His wife and his unborn child perished, and his parents. And so he survived Auschwitz, and he'd been working on this research when he went in. And when he got out of Auschwitz, he hunkered down, and over a period of a few days, like, a week or two, put out the manuscript, Man's Search for Meaning. And, what he did was he said, what makes a meaningful life? And according to his research, he said, for our lives to be full of meaning, we've got to have 3 things. So one is we have to have a redemptive view on suffering. So when something bad happens to us, can we take that and say, well, it gave me this, or I'm still alive, or I can still see the sunshine, or I grew from that experience, right? Because we've all been around long enough to know there's suffering in life, always. There's always something that isn't going our way seemingly, right? And there's always something to gain from it. So for example, for me, I had a pretty cushy, nice life when I was married. And after 25 years, that, like I said, ended, and my life's been a lot harder. And I've taken that and said, I've gained so much out of it. I found myself. I've learned all the things that I just didn't learn when I was married. For some reason, it took me getting divorced to figure these things out. I wrote a book about it. I'm, kind of in the process of helping other women, and men who have gone through this experience. So that's my redemptive view on suffering, rather than saying, "Oh, my life is so hard now, and it was so easy before." No, I've got an amazing life because of this experience. All of these other things have fallen into place for me. So that's an example of or having a redemptive view on suffering. Anybody want to chime in? Any thoughts or anything you guys want to share on this idea of having a redemptive view on suffering?
Mhm.
Jovan, did you have something or just
I mean, honestly, this is like we just went over this in my church, so it's like
you're like,
I don't. I mean, I would go a totally different way than probably what you're gonna explain right now, and I don't want to, take over your conversation.
project that we're working on. We have to be making progress, doing something that gives us something to do that is going to benefit us or somebody else or something in some way, right? So those are the three things that he said. If you have these three things in your life, you're working on something, you have some love there, and you've got a redemptive view on suffering, your life is full of meaning. So I like this. I think that's a really simple, easy to understand definition of, what is, my purpose? What's the meaning for my life? And this is something that I've really struggled with myself because, again, I was a stay-at-home mom for 20 years, and I thought that was my purpose. And well, then that ends. Well, does that mean I have no purpose anymore? And so I've spent, like I said, the last 10 years or so really figuring this part out. And to me, it's a lot of inner work. It's a lot of, just contemplating, what drives you, what motivates you. And so I've got an exercise that I want to have you guys do. So this is something that I'd like you to do it in real time right now, if at all possible. If you're driving, I don't do it, but at least think about it. We might have some awkward silences here, but that's going to be okay. We will deal with the awkward silences because here's what I want to do. I'm going to ask you 3 magic questions that if you can get clear on these things, I think you're going to feel really good about the meaning in your life. So I want you to take a piece of paper and hold it landscape like that and unfold it into thirds. Or you could do, draw 2 lines down it so that you've got, landscape orientation with 3 columns, so that you can write. Because in each column, we're going to answer a question. I'm going to time you guys. And even if you can't talk, let's see, do we have a chat box?
We do not have a chat
I have a
box.
chat box.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right. Okay. I'm learning the system here. All right, so that's all right. I'm gonna just put some good vibes out there and let you guys, even if you can't participate and share with me, which I hope you will. At least I want you to take some time and think about this and put some ideas down to paper. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to set the timer for a minute, and I want you to fill out in the first column the answer to this question. What do you want to experience? So in this, I want you to think about things like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to travel? What do you want to own? Do you want to be a good tennis player? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to be a good mom, a good brother, what do you want to experience in this life? Just start letting them flow, jot them down. I'm setting the timer for 1 minute. Go. 20 more seconds. Okay, time's up. All right. Okay, hopefully got you some amazing things on that list. I'm going to go to the second of the magic questions. So you're going to do this in the middle column. And the question is, how do you want to grow? So if you're going to have these amazing experiences, in what ways do you need to grow? Think about, what do you want to learn? Think about your spirituality, your education, what kinds of relationships do you want to build? So think about physically. What do you want to improve health wise? So think about your business, your finances, your health, your relationships. In what ways do you want to grow so that you can have these amazing experiences? I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute, so start filling it in. Twenty seconds left. Okay, and that's time. All right, I've got one more question for you. And so the third one in your last column is, how do you want to contribute? Think about to your clients, to your family, to the community, to the world, to the environment, to your church, to who do you want to contribute to? How do you want to contribute? I'll give you 1 minute. Twenty seconds. And that's it. All right. So again, I don't know if you guys want to share or chime in, but I'd love to know what are your ahas after you spent some time thinking about what you want to experience, how you want to grow, what you want to do to contribute. Any ahas or anything you guys would care?
Mine are pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 1 and 3 are the same. My end goal is going to be like they're the same thing. It's humanitarian work for me. That's the whole reason why I'm in real estate for the first place. So it's like that's what I want to do. I want to give back. I want to help people nationwide, worldwide, and I hope to achieve this through real estate sales. Number 2, I want to, of course, grow spiritually in my faith with Christ. And my goal, as always, for business is just to be the number 1 selling realtor in LA.
I love what you what you want to experience pretty much takes.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It sounds like what you're saying is what you want to experience is what you become, right? Like that's part of who you are. That's what you like.
I'm not sure if it's just me that's having trouble hearing you or if it's just like a thing.
Yeah, Jovan, can you try muting yourself and seeing if we can hear Christy better that way?
All right, thanks. What I was saying, thanks. That's the issue. What I was saying is, if I'm understanding you right, what you want to experience is contribution. You were saying your first column and your third column are pretty similar, right? Because the experience that you want to have here is to come from contribution and to help help other people out. So I think that's a great aha. I love that. Anything else that anybody else kind of recognized when you wrote out this list? I've done it with a bunch of people in different, formats, and I always find it interesting. Sometimes people will say, "Gosh, I realized my list for how I want to contribute." I had an assistant that I did this with, and she really struggled with what did she want to experience. She was so growth minded and always wanting to learn and always wanting to give and do for others, and she hadn't really put the time into thinking what does she want to experience herself. So I think there can be some kind of interesting ahas as we go through these kinds of exercises. So what I'm saying is your purpose, I think, is sometimes obvious for people. What's the meaning in my life, or what is my purpose? For some people, it's pretty obvious, right? For me, it's taken me years to kind of do these kinds of exercises and try to find the common threads, right? What is the thing? Like what I was just saying with Jovan is a thread for him is this contributing, right? So for me, I've done a lot of these exercises and finally came and landed on a statement that works for me. It's kind of my North Star to know, am I living in alignment with my purpose? And I decided that my purpose is for me to live a life of joy and passion and to inspire and empower others to do the same. So it's kind of my North Star. And I got that from all of these experiences or all of these exercises in getting clear in my own mind on what do I want out of this life. Like we get to kind of choose. So I think that the answer for your purpose lies somewhere in these lists, right? In these magic questions. So if you, what I would suggest doing with them is usually what you can just bang out in the first minute is the biggest stuff, right? Those going to be the most meaningful things. But spend some time, later today, tonight in a quiet moment. See if you can add to it and get some clarity around it. I did mine in a minute and then kind of added, things here or there. And made sure that it all felt right, that it felt like, yeah, that is actually what I want, not just what I think I want. So spend some time doing that and then look for the common thread and say, is there something in here that says, this is kind of my theme, this is who I am and what I'm here to do. If you're struggling with this idea of, what's my purpose? We sometimes act or treat it like it's a puzzle to figure out and we've got to figure it out. And so what I would say is, if you don't know, you get to pick one. You get to just say, this is my purpose, try it on for size and see how it fits and just keep asking yourself questions, right? Give yourself some time and space to think about what's truly important. What I did was I created a little binder here where I've got like my 3 magic questions. So like on one page, I've got my, what do I want to experience? And on the next page, I've got my, how do I need to grow? And I have that in a binder with like some vision statements, like just, what I've written out in like a story form or for like, where do I want my life to go? And so I refer to this, in the mornings and kind of look over some of these things and say, am I living in alignment with that? And what can I do today that's on that list, right? So, all right, any thoughts or anything to add or any questions on the purpose? All right, let's talk about fear. Fear, I said, the second reason that, we kind of block some happiness is that we let fear stand in the way. Fear is a powerful survival mechanism, right? We are hardwired to be fearful. That keeps us, kept us from being eaten alive by dinosaurs or whatever, you believe, but we've got this in our DNA, right? That fear is a protection mechanism. So the way that I've learned to let go of fear, I'm stealing this exercise from a mentor of mine, and that's Matthew Ferry. So it's Mike Ferry's son, Tom Ferry's brother. Matthew Ferry is who created this exercise, and I am a big fan of it. It has served me well. So the idea with this is that sometimes we don't go for the things that we want because we're afraid. And it's because, well, if we fail, it's so scary, and this might happen and that might happen. And we kind of halfway get there, and we tend to catastrophize, and we just think, you know what, all these bad things could happen if I put myself out there and I try to do this. And so what Matthew kind of came up with was, this is actually a good idea to go to the worst possible thing that could happen. If you're afraid of something, for instance, I was working for a boutique company here in Orange County, and I didn't want to. I wanted to work for myself. I was so afraid to let go of that great paycheck, that was stable, and I had a health insurance and all of that. But I wanted to do my own thing. And so I had to go to the worst case scenario and say, if I quit my job and I bomb, my business is a miserable failure, what would that look like? And go deep and dark, right? So let's talk about how to do this. So the first thing is, we're going to identify the absolute worst thing that could happen. I end up homeless. I end up with no friends and family. I mean, go ridiculous, right? Like just line it all out. So write it all out if you can. Writing it out is really powerful. So write out what's the worst possible thing that could happen. And then here's the thing, is that we normally stop there. We say, oh, well, I can't quit my job because, gosh, I might end up like losing my house, right? And that's pretty catastrophe, right? But the problem is we stop there, and that's where things end. But to make this work for us, we got to do the second step. Make a plan for what if that actual worst thing actually does happen. What would I do? So in my situation, I want to quit my job. I want to start my own business. I'm worried that I'm, going to lose everything, have no money. You guys might laugh, anybody that, we all love our mothers. But my worst case scenario ends with me living on a blow up mattress, sleeping on a blow up mattress in my mother's basement apartment in Utah. That's my worst case scenario, right? Not being able to take care of myself, having nothing, and having to go move in with my mother. That is many people's worst case scenarios, is having to move back home with mom. Okay, so I've written this all out, and it's dark and it's sad, and I've got nothing. I have to sell my furniture and, move in, and, and I've got nothing. But then I wrote out a plan. What would I do? What would the first thing be that I would do? I would look for a job, right? I would, go back to being a team leader. I'd do whatever. And I'd come up with, well, what kind of job? Where would I look? What would I be willing to do? I could do that. I could go do that job for a year while I'm finishing my book, and while I'm, selling some real estate or whatever it is that I'm going to do, so that I can build back up and have my business again, right? So I've written both of these out. I've written my worst case scenario where I'm living in the basement, and then, okay, I'd go get a job. And I'd probably only take me a couple of months, and then I could move out of my mom's house, and I could get, an apartment, right? I know what my steps are. And it is amazingly freeing when you figure out the absolute worst thing that could happen and say, I can live through that. But then most importantly, going here to this, what would I do if that did happen? And then the third step is really, really simple. And it's just promise yourself that, all right, if this worst thing happens, I'm going to put my plan into place. It's geniusly simple, right? It's like shining a light, on in that dark place, or pointing out the elephant in the room. It's like, if we can go there and really say, what could the seriously, honestly, worst thing happen? How would I handle it? Oh, I could handle that. I could do that. And so that's the way to let go of fear and do those things that you're wanting to do. All right. So any thoughts, questions, anything you guys would share on that? Okay. All right. So the third option that I said, or the third factor that stops us from being happy and productive right now, is these limiting beliefs. And so this is a little teaser for next week. I'm not going to cover the limiting beliefs portion today. That is a whole class all unto itself. We're going to talk about, where do these beliefs come from that hold us back and restrain us, right? And then most importantly, how do we change them? Because I think it's been a buzzword, a buzz term for a while, talking about limiting beliefs. The problem is, so many people talk about it, but how do you change them, right? So we're going to give you some tools that will help you identify those beliefs, and then figure out, what are you going to do to change them in your mind. So that's the third thing, is conquering your limiting beliefs. So we'll talk about that all next week. All right, so that leaves us to the fourth thing I identified on why we're just not as happy as we could be, right? And that is that we've got the formula all wrong. We operate, most of us, from a place of, if I do this, then I'll be happy. If I have that, then I'll be happy. If I get married, I'll be happy. If I get divorced, I'll be happy. If I get a better job, I'll be happy. If I sell more real estate, I'll be happy. If I work less, I'll be happy. Right? So we think we do A, or have A, and then the B is we get happy. So Shawn Achor says, you just have to reverse the form. Consulted with every big company on the planet, and written lots of books. If you haven't read The Happiness Advantage by Shawn Achor, you need to read it. It's amazing. But I'm going to let him talk about his theory on how we've got this backwards.
Christy, I'm having trouble hearing the video. Do you hear it on your end?
Sorry, yeah, it's really loud on my end. You guys can't hear it?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't know. There must be something with the technology then. It's totally.
I think it's on our end. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? Why don't we do this then? If you guys can't hear it, that's going to be a bit of a silly use of time. I don't want to do that. Jot down for me, will you, that to look up, just Google Shawn Achor, and this is how you spell his name, ShawnAchor. So just Google Shawn Achor TED Talk. And I think you guys will just be so enamored with this video. I've seen it a million times. I'm going to talk about, really what his, what the gist of what he says here is. But just watch it on your own time, and I hope it brings you a lot of great thoughts. So, all right. So basically, what he says is that we've got to flip the script. We have to just decide to be happy now, and then those things will come, right? So instead of saying, well, I want to be happy, I'll be happy when I'm successful. No, if you're just happy, you'll be successful, right? So it's flipping the script. So how do you flip that script and just, okay, Sean, I'm going to decide to be happy, right? So what he says is there are, activities that you can do that will help rewire your brain. So here is what he oops, there we go. Here's what he suggests that you do: 5 daily practices to rewire your brain and be happy now. So the first is to practice gratitude. This is an action. So it is to decide each day, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for? Now, I've been doing this for years, but I've been doing it in a text format with my youngest son, who's 23, for about 2.5 years. Every single night before we go to bed, we text each other, what are we grateful for that day? So we do at least 3 things every single night. So it's a great activity to do with your kids. It gets their brains wired looking for happiness. What happens is just that, is that when you get into a practice of knowing that you need to write down or text, what 3 things am I grateful for? Your brain starts looking for things to be grateful for. And you start to realize there are so many things to be grateful for all the way around. It is kind of the baseline of all good things coming to you, is appreciating what you actually already have. So start a text chain with somebody, a friend or a family member, or a journal with yourself, and every day come up with, what are 3 things that I can do, or what are 3 things that I am grateful for? All right, the second one is to journal about a positive experience. Now, this is an interesting one. So what he's saying here is, at the end of the day, think of something good that happened, or maybe it's first thing in the morning, you think about yesterday, and you think about what happened, and then write about it. So there are a couple of things that are happening here. One is, when you're using motor skills, you're using your hands and your brain and words, and all of these things start firing, the wiring in your brain in a different way. And it cements things. Like, so that's why when we write things down, it's because we're combining the physical and the mental and the hand and the eye and all of these things. They start hardwiring better. And the other thing is it forces you to relive. You get to have the positive experience, and then it amplifies that positive experience by reliving it again and putting it down on paper. It's kind of magic. So journal every single day about a positive experience. The third one then is exercise. So moving your body in some way. I would definitely, suggest doing it in the morning, just because it changes your body chemistry for the whole rest of the day, right? Anybody, if you've ever, been to Tony Robbins or seen any of that, I'm like, I hate all the fist pumping and the jumping up and down and everything. Well, he does it for a reason, right? Changing our physical body is a huge step into changing our emotional and mental, right? So moving our body does literally release the chemicals that make us happier, the endorphins and on all of that stuff. So get a little exercise in every day. The fourth one is to meditate. There are tons and tons and tons of stories out there. This is quieting our brain and deep breathing. All of these things can significantly increase our happiness. I am a big meditator, and I've been tracking I use this app's Streaks. I don't know if you've ever used it, Streaks. You can track a habit. So I fell off my meditation habit a little bit ago, and so I've been tracking it every day. I'm on day 55 that's my streak right now for meditation. 55 days in a row of meditating daily. So get a little meditation in. And then the last one, this is my favorite. So practice a random act of kindness via a thank you text. So if you're a writer and you like to write out cards or something, you could do that. Most of us, we'll just go to the phone and text. But the idea here is to focus on somebody other than yourself. When we're in depression or anxiety, it's all because we're inward, inward, inward. We're focusing on ourselves and our problems. And when we focus outwardly, things get better. And I had this experience on Sunday. I just was filled with overwhelming gratitude for a situation that I'm in and the people that kind of led me there. And so there were about 3 people involved, and I texted each of them, and it was super random because one of them was somebody I haven't talked to in quite a while. And each one of them, I just sent him a text and said, you know what? I was just thinking about how blessed I am that you're in my life. And I'm so grateful you did this. And has made my life so amazing. And I just appreciate you so much. And all 3 of them had the same response. Oh my gosh, you just made my day, right? All of them had the exact same response. So that's a great way to get out of yourself and not focus on yourself and focus on others. And by doing these 5 acts every day, you can't help but feel better, right? And none of them have to be, you don't just spend an hour doing any of them, right? Even just moving your body a little bit, doing some jumping jacks or running around, the house or something, but to move your body. So, just pick a small amount of time to start off with, and then grow to, as much time as you can give to it. But these can all be done pretty quickly and will have a great, amazing result on your life. So that's Shawn Achor's 5 daily practices to retrain your brain to be happy right now, instead of waiting for something to make you happy. You just decide to make yourself happy, and these are the ways to do it. All right. So to kind of firm up or come back to full circle, if we want to be happy now, connect to our purpose. Get your list finished. It's just you and me, Sobeda. So finish your list and refer to it, right? So that you can connect to it. Figure out what fear is holding you back and identify what's the worst thing that could happen. Make your plan and promise to follow your plan if the worst thing does happen. We'll talk about the limiting beliefs next week. And then do those 5 daily habits from Shawn Achor to reverse the formula and just decide to be happy right now instead of waiting for something to make you happy. That's all I've got for you. Is there anything, I don't know if you're able to unmute, but any questions or anything you want to chat about, Sobeda?
Hey, Christy. Well, I wanted to say that, especially the last slide you presented about going out of yourself and focusing on other things. I thought that's spot on and a good reminder.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate you chiming in. Love it. Well, next week we're going to go through the limiting beliefs, and it's just a really, I think it's such an amazing topic. So I hope to see you back here next week, and we'll go through that. Thank you so much for being here. All right, take care.